This is page 254. Number 15 reads, Ellen is playing a video game in which she captures butterflies. There are 3 butterflies on screen, but the number of butterflies double every minute. After 4 minutes, she was able to capture 7 of the butterflies. A, look for a pattern. Write an expression for the number of butterflies after 4 minutes. Use a power of 2 in your answer. So it says that there's 3 butterflies on screen. So we're going to take 3, and that's going to be our starting point. And what are we going to do? We're going to multiply that by 2 because it says they double. And then it says every minute. So they double in the first minute, and they double again in the second minute, and they double again in the third minute, and they double again in the fourth minute. And the reason I'm stopping there is because it says after 4 minutes. And then it says something about capturing 7 butterflies, and they gave you this information because it actually is not part of this question, because it doesn't say anything about capturing them as being part of the problem. So we're not going to include that. So what's this problem here? It's 3 times 2, but 2 is to the power. It says use a power of 2 in your answer. Well, the power of 2, that doesn't mean the exponent has to be 2. 2 is going to be the base. So how do we write this? What we do is we want to put 2 first. It's going to be 2 to the 4th power times 3. Now why did I reverse those orders? Because we go from least to greatest when it comes to the base. So we've got 2 to the 4th power times 3. Wouldn't really matter if you wrote 3 times 2 to the 4th power, but that's the answer to A. Question B reads, write an expression for the number of butterflies remaining after Ellen captured the 7 butterflies and simplify the expression. So this one includes capturing, as in we're going to subtract. Remaining right here tells you that there were some on screen, but she captured 7, so that's going to be subtract. So it's going to be the same expression as we just wrote. It's going to be 2 to the 4th times 3 minus 7. And then it says to simplify. I'm going to come over here and show my work. 2 to the 4th times 3 minus 7. 2 to the 4th goes first because when it comes to PEMDAS, we do parentheses and exponents first. And this is an exponent problem. You're going to be tempted to think this is 8, but it's not. It's 16 because 2 to the 4th power means this right here. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So 2 to the 4th means 16. We're going to multiply that by 3 because we multiply before we subtract. 16 times 3 is 48. We're going to subtract 7 and we get 41. 41 butterflies remain. All right, let's check out number 16. 16 reads, show how to write, evaluate, and simplify an expression to represent and solve this problem. Jeff and his friend each text 4 classmates about a concert. Each classmate then texts 4 students from another school about the concert. If no one receives the message more than once, how many students from other school received a text about the concert? Well, let's start at the beginning. It says Jeff and his friend. How many people is that? Jeff and his friend. That's 2 people. So it starts with a 2. And it says they each text 4 classmates. So if 2 people each make 4 texts, that's 2 times 4, that's 8. So we're going to start with 2 times 4. It then says that each classmate then texts 4 students from another school. So that's going to be times 4 again. That's it. That's all we have to do, except for that we're going to rewrite this as 2 times 4 to the 2nd power, because 4 times 4 is 16. We're going to write that as 4 squared rather than 4 times 4. And then we're going to actually solve this. And this one you can pretty much do mentally. 4 times 4, this part right here, the exponent problem. In fact, I'm going to do it right here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to solve this right here because I like to show my work. 2 times 4 squared. You do the 4 squared first. And that's not 8. 4 squared is 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. And then we double that. And 2 times 16 is 32. The answer is 32 students receive a text. about the concert, but that's good enough. We did good enough there. Okay, sweet. Let's move on. We are going to skip number 17. That means skip A and B, so you could write just the word skip right here. And we are going to do numbers 18 and maybe 19. 19 is a little tricky. We'll see if we have time. I'll check the time on the video. Definitely going to do 18, though. 18 is a great problem. I'm going to go ahead and make a whiteboard here. 18 reads, explain the error. Rob and Lila try to simplify 18 times 4 squared plus 9 minus 3. That's all in parentheses, and that gets squared. And they each get different answers, and it kind of doesn't matter which is which. Because we need to go start and do which student is correct. So we're going to actually, in order to figure out which student is correct, we really have to do this problem. That's why I chose this one. We have to do this problem. So let's check it out. Number 18. I'm going to try and go nice and slow on this one. It's 18 times 4 squared plus 9 minus 3 squared. And we're going to follow our order of operations, which are PEMDAS. I've been writing it like this lately. Parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. Kind of wouldn't matter if you wrote it P, E, M, then D, then A, then S. As long as we understand that we do parentheses and exponents first. We kind of have a couple of exponent problems here, but we really need to do this one exactly first. So we're going to do 9 minus 3 and then square it. 9 minus 3 is 6. This squared that was attached to it goes right here. And now we've got 4 squared and 6 squared and 18 times. And so now you can do the 6 squared and the 4 squared. You can do them at the same time. We just use double carets. 6 squared means 6 times 6. That's 36. And 4 squared means 4 times 4. That's 16. Now what do we do? Well, we've got our two options here. We've got multiply or we've got add. And when you check out your, actually I'll leave it right here. When you check out your multiply and your add, multiply comes first. So we're going to multiply first. Do 18 times 16 right here. And my multiplication chart tells me the answer, but I don't have it handy, so I'm just going to do multiplication to figure it out. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 4 is 10. Place a 0 as a placeholder, and 1 times 8 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. And I'm going to get 288. 8 plus 0 is 8. 0 plus 8 is 8. I get 288 plus 36. That's going to be my last step. So I'm going to go over here and do 288 plus 36. And 8 plus 6 is 14. 8 plus 3 is 11. Plus 1 is 12. And 1 plus 2 is 3. You get 324. So go back up to the directions. It says Rob got 360. Lila got 324. Who was right? Lila is right. And then it says what student? Lila is correct. And there's a second part to this one. What error did the other student make? Well, I actually don't know the answer to this, so let's go ahead and problem solve it together. Let's go work backwards. How would someone have gotten 360? And I'm actually not sure, to be honest. I'm going to go back and kind of undo my thoughts here. So I wonder if one of the things he could have done is, could Rob have thought to himself that we need to do 9 squared and 3 squared? So let's go ahead and look right here. I think Rob probably started right here because I don't think he did 18 times 4 and squared that, because the answer would have been gigantic. And here's why I know that. If you do 18 times 4 and then get 72 and then do 72 times 72, you get 5,000. That's not what Rob did. So he didn't start here. He started here. So if he didn't do 9 minus 3 and then square it, I think what he might have done was done 9 squared, which is 81, minus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So 9 times 9. This is not what you're supposed to do. I'm just trying to figure out what he did do. 81 minus 9 is 72. And then all of this, when we just did this, all of this was 288. I bet 288 plus 72 is 360. That's what he did. That's exactly what he did. So what he did wrong, I'm going to type it. What Rob did incorrectly was to square both 9 and 3 before subtracting. He should have subtracted first and that's because it was in parentheses, then squared the difference. Tricky. That was harder than I expected to be. Solving wasn't the hard part. Us getting the answer, getting us figuring out that Lila was correct, that wasn't the hard part. What made this one really hard was finding out what Rob did wrong. All right, I do want to try this number 19, and we have time kind of, but there's a chance that this one would be pretty hard for you. Number 19 reads, persevere in problem solving. Persevere means keep trying, and they purposely give this to us with the intention of it's going to take a while. So I'm going to kind of show you what I would do, and we really might run out of time on this, and if so, it's not that big a deal. So what we do is we put all these operations out, and we still have to follow the order of operations, but what we need to do is we need to figure out what could make this 25. So I'm going to try and solve this with no parentheses. So if I do 8 times 4, I get 32. And then I've got minus, and then I got to do 2 times 3, that's 6. And then I'm going to bring down my add, and then I'm going to do 8 divided by 2, which is 4. And if you do 36 minus 6, you get 26. And 26 plus 4 is 30. And it's not 25. And I need to make 25. So how do I make 25? Well, I have to not do that correct order of operations. Instead, what I have to do is put parentheses somewhere and start somewhere else. For example, what if I just started right here? Let me check this. If I start right here, I do 4 minus 2 first. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 times 8 is 16. And then I have times 3. 16 times 3 is 48. And then I have this plus sign. And then I have 8 divided by 2 is 4. 48 plus 4 is not 52. Then that's definitely not it. And if you're frustrated at this point, remember the first word in this problem says persevere. We got to try something else. So what else could we try? We could always try this 3 plus 8 first. If I do 3 plus 8 first, I get 11. And then 11 is right next to times 2. And then I've got 8 times 4. So this is a multiplication problem right here. This is a multiplication problem right here, and then I've got divide 2. Let's try this. 8 times 4 is 32. Subtract 2 times 11 is 22. And then I've got divide 2. I have to divide first before I subtract. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. And I got 32. 32 minus 11, that's not 25. So that's not it. Now, I obviously, as the teacher, have access to the answer key, and I know what the correct answer is. So why did I put you through this big guess and check method? Well, I just wanted to show you that it is worth persevering sometimes. Here's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put the parentheses here and here, and I'll prove that to you right now. Once inside the parentheses, I do this first. 2 times 3 is 6. And then I immediately add 6 plus 8 is 14. Now watch how the rest of this will work. 8 times 4 minus 14 divided by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 8 times 4 is 32. And 32 minus 7 is 25. So this right here is where we needed to put the parentheses to make that true. So what goes on the line? The answer, what goes on your line for the answer is this. It's 8 times 4 minus 2 times 3 plus 8 divided by 2 is all equal to 25, but we had to place the parentheses before the 2 and after the 8. That makes the statement true, and I just showed you. The whole point of that problem was to persevere through it. Okay, you're done with page 254. You are now ready to try the 9.3 checkup and quiz. Good luck.